Firstly, everyone, today in this class we are going to learn about class 7 geography, chapter number 3, that is over changing earth, part 3. Walk of sea waves. So here we need to know the meaning of sea waves. Sea waves means when the surface of ocean water moves. That is called sea waves. So if we look at this image here, the surface of the ocean water is moving. So that is called sea waves. When the sea waves moves, it will erode the soils, rocks uh, near to the sea coast. So this is called erosion. Erosion means carrying away, taking away, removal of soils and rocks, rock particles or materials near to the coastal areas. That is called erosion. And deposition, when this particular sea water eroded this section of coastal area, it will carry these sand and soils to in the sea, inside the sea. So that is called deposition. The erosion and deposition of sea waves. So we know what is meant by sea waves, right? When sea wave moves here and there, it will it will erode and it will deposit soil particles, rock particles from one place to another place. So because of that, it will give rise to different landforms in the coastal area. So if you look at here, we have a sea beach here, we have sea caves here, we have sea arc here, we have stacks in the sea in near to the coastal area. So all these landforms are formed because of what? Sea waves. So again, sea wave is the agent which modifies the uh, landforms or relief features near the coastal areas. So this is the first point. Second point is due to the sea waves, because of this particular moving ocean water, hollow means hole. So here, if we look at this image here we have a hole. Hollow-like caves formed on the rocks. So here we have a rock here. So here we have a this one hole on the rocks. So this particular rock is again made by ocean water. So when ocean water touches with this particular rock, so suppose in this particular here rock we have a crack, and this particular section of this rock is we have a soft rock. So when sea wave touches this particular rock again and again, it will form a hollow or a hole on the rock near the sea. So these rocks or hole in a hole on the this one rocks near the sea coast, these are called sea caves. So again, sea caves are formed because of what? Sea waves. Walk of sea waves. As cavities become, so here cavities means holes. When holes become bigger in size, so if you look at here, first we have a crack, and this particular section of the rock is we have this one soft rock. So when sea water touches this again and again, it will rub with this particular section of the rock, and uh, later on it will become a this one sea cave. Again, when the sea this one wave touches this rock cave again and again, it will become a bigger hole. So see here, when a cavity becomes a bigger in size, cavity means hole become bigger in size, only the roof of the cave remains. So here the only the roof of the whole this one cave is remain, thus it is form a arc. So this is called sea arc. Crack, sea, after that it will form a sea cave. Later on, over a period of time, it will form a sea arc. Later on, when the erosion further breaks the roof of the roof and only the walls are left, it is called sea stack. These are called stacks. So also over a period of time, when again this particular sea wave touches this again and again, it erupts with this particular section of the rock, and the rock roof of this particular sea arc may fall down. So because of that, it will form a sea stack. So these are called stacks. The steep rocky coast rising almost vertically above the sea water, it is called sea cliff. So this is sea water, this is horizontal. This particular coast is vertical to this coast. This is horizontal, this is vertical. So this particular red line is vertical. So this is steep rocky coast. Steep means yang sarpo, thur sarpo. Steep, we have different types of steeps. Gentle, steep slope, gentle slopes, right? So this is steep slope. So this steep rocky coast, so coast means those area which is very near to sea are called coast. So this steep rocky coast, so this is rocky. Here we have this sea coast is, we have rocks, different kind of rocks. So these are the rocks. So because of that, this is called steep rocky coast rising almost vertically. So this is vertically rising above the sea level. This is sea, this is vertically rising above the sea level. So these are called steep rocky coast are called sea cliffs. So these are called sea cliffs. So these are the different landforms that we can see when we go to sea coast of the world. We can see sea caves, we can see sea arcs, we can see stacks, we can see sea cliffs, and we can also see sea beaches in the different part of the world. So these are the different landforms uh, that are made by sea waves. Next, walk of ice, glaciers. So here we need to know the glaciers. So when the snow on a particular place uh, piles up over many year, it will become a glacier when a particular place, so this is a particular place, when snow falls down, piles of snow falls down, piles of over many thousands of years, it will form a ice and snow. So these are called glacier. So glaciers are the river of ice. So glaciers are moving. Because of that, glaciers are rivers of ice. Glaciers of the world are moving. Snows and ices of the ice in the world are moving. So glacier and glaciers are called rivers of ice, which erode. So when this particular snow or the glacier is moving, the landscape by bulldozing. So this particular landscape is moving or carrying moving down. Because of what, the glaciers are gradually moving down. So and soil and stone on to expose the solid rocks below. So when these particular glaciers are moving down, it will also carries rocks, sand below this particular snow or the glacier. So these are the landscapes which are produced by moving glaciers. So these are debris, or the when these particular snows moves these rocks, sand particles and other materials which are deposited below this snow. When these snow moves these particular materials down, these are called moraines. So these are the moraines. So these particular rocks are moved down, carried away, carried from this hill and this particular mountain to down to this particular place or the region. Because of what? Glaciers. So these are called moraines. The materials carried by glaciers, such as big and small rocks. Silt means very, very small particles, small sand. These are deposited down hillsides. So these deposited form a moraine. So these deposited rocks, sand and silt by the glaciers, these are called moraines. So again, work of ice is also modifying the landforms near to the polar regions and near to where there is a heavy snowfall. So again, walk of ice is also modifying the landscapes of our earth. Walk of wind, an active agent of erosion and deposition in the desert, is the wind. So if we talk about the erosion and deposition process in the desert regions of the world, so wind is the main agents that modifies, that make changes the landforms in the desert regions of the world. So if we talk about India, we have Rajasthan desert, or the Thar desert, or the Great Indian Desert. So the main agents of erosion and deposition in the desert area are wind. So what is the main agents of deposition and erosion in the desert regions of the world? Means we can say wind is the main agent, right? So it makes a rock in the shape of mushroom. So this is a rock in the desert. So this particular rock, if we look at this particular rock, the shape of this particular rock is like mushroom that we used to eat, right? It is a kind of vegetable. So when the wind touches this particular rock, uh, the soft part of this particular rock may eroded by wind and deposited to another place. So it will produce a mushroom-like shape because of wind's erosion and depositional process. So it will make rock in shape of a mushroom. So these are called mushroom rocks. So again, these mushroom shape rocks in the desert areas are made or produced by wind erosion and depositional processes. So these part of um, rock is much thinner as compared to this one. So this part of this rock is eroded by wind in desert areas. So mushroom structure, this in the mushroom rock structure in the desert are produced by wind erosion and depositional process. So this is mushroom rocks in desert area. When the wind stop blowing, when the wind stop blowing, the sand falls and get deposited in lowland and forms hill-like structure. These are called parching. So if we look at the second image here, we can see hill-like structures. So these hill-like structures are again produced or made by winds. So when the wind, when the pressure or the forces of the wind become weak, it will deposit all the small sand to another particular, it will deposit to low-lying areas in the desert regions. Ultimately, it will produce, later on, it will produce a hill-like structure in the desert. So these are the hill-like structures in the desert, right? Right. So these hill-like structures in the deserts are called dunes, sand dunes. So these hill-like structures are again produced, or the landscapes are again made by or produced by winds in the desert regions of the world. Walk of the wind, when the grains of sand are very fine and light. So when the soil sand particles are very small and very light, when the grain of the sand are very fine and when the sands are very small and light, the wind carries these sands and light particles for over a long distance, far away places. They will carry from desert area to far away places. When such sands deposited in a large to another, these moving sand, these moving sand by winds, fine sands are moved by wind over a long distance, and finally it when it discharged in deposited or discharged in a large area like this, they are called loess. So they are called loess. So these particular sands are carried out, carried and deposited here by wind from long distance. So these are called loess. Thank you.